What up? What up? What up? What up, good people? Hopefully, y'all are doing very, very well out there in the wide, wide world. My camera is off center. There we go. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to think some beautiful thoughts and have some beautiful experiences. Welcome back to the Inner Storyteller. Welcome back to the channels, and welcome back to your real life, good people. It is high time, you know, about time, high time for us to live our real lives and not just live on behalf of someone else or someone else's agenda. If you are here, as you know, you are in for real conversations about natural law, religion, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the great, money, anarchy, culture, and how mankind is manipulated from the shadows by forces that do not have our best interests at heart. But I say we talk about religion. We are not bashing faith systems here or calling people stupid for having a religion. We are simply examining the psychological affects and effects of the stories we have the most faith in, the ones we have the most stake in, and those stories and how those stories shape society. Now, that examination, of course, has to sit right alongside an honest look at the current condition of humanity. The current human condition is, of course, slavery. Government is slavery, good people. And the question we have to keep coming back to is what can actually be improved with a proper understanding of one's inner storyteller and how it works. And if any of that makes you a little uneasy or makes you angry, uncomfortable in any way, please be assured and reassured that although you are 100,000 million trillion percent encouraged to stay and maybe confront some of those feelings, you are also welcome to leave at any time after you like the video. You have to like the video first, good people. Okay? It's in the Bible. Look it up in the book of Soul, chapter 10, verse 5 through 7. Thou shalt like the video. Now, before I actually bring my special guest up, this wonderful person that you see in the thumbnail, um, if this video blows up, hopefully her channel blew up first or at the same time so that y'all already are familiar with her content. If not, and I get super huge first, this lady is worth a follow, worth an ear, a listening ear, and reminds me so much of like the kind of revolutionaries that I used to want to imagine myself becoming, right? The people that would just get the concept, understand it, and then go try some shit. Let me go put my feet and hands and sacrifice and time and pay attention over here to these things that I'm learning. Let me go implement something that I'm learning about real freedom beyond the money system and the lawmakers and the legislatures and the blah blah fucking blah, right? This is that person. And before I bring her on, I want you to hear some lyrics of mine from back in the day when I was a young 20 something writing bars every night. And just let these sink in because I feel like this person, as you will see, embodies these lyrics. So in an old song in my first EP that I called the Atomic EP, there was a song called The Source. And basically just a song about how I'm pulling from the source, not from these influencers, celebrities, and systems that they want us to pull from. And at the very end of that song, I'm like screaming into the microphone in the studio. Ah, I'm doing my thing. And I say, my whole life I've been told lies. I'm angry. A lion out his cage. My pride's back. Try to tame me. The system has been set up for them. How can you blame me? This system got you set up to sleep, nigga, you lazy. But I'm a free thinker, and it's gonna take a lot more than money to change me. With that being said, welcome to the Inner Storyteller podcast. Miss Red, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing super duper duper good. Hopefully you liked my little intro there, and hopefully you like the bars.
I love the bars.
You know what I'm saying?
Speaks to the heart.
I came across your channel like I don't know, it's probably been 2.5, 3 weeks now. And as soon as I saw one video, I clicked on your channel and I watched like 10 more. Because I was like, oh, that sounds very aligned. Let me see if that was a fluke, if that was just like some truth coming through somebody who's learned their voice. And it's like, no, this is somebody who's exploring different angles and like looking looking deeply into things, not just trying to be an academic and just be like I'm smarter than everybody, but you really seem to have a way of just trying to remember what it's like to be free. And freedom is what we are all about on this channel. I don't know if you know, but the music group that me and my wife form is called Ufuluchild. Ufulu means freedom. That is 100% my life, is exploring what it really means to get back to our natural state of freedom. So before I get into my first question for you, interview style, can you please just kind of introduce yourself, tell people um, what you are as far as revolutionary and what that means to you, and then I'll get into my first question.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I go by Red, and I have been through a lot in my life, as many of us have been. And in the last year, I have been homeless. I've had to sleep on, relatives' couches. And I was already like, a woke person, but it just made me dive deeper into it. It made me dive deeper into what we're actually doing as a whole. And it made me want to speak out about it. I know that there are people that are just like me. I make my content for people who maybe feel alone in their awakening and who feel like this system is something that they don't want to be a part of and that we don't have to live this way. And I'm here to give hope for that new future.
Wonderful, wonderful. So some of your content is and when I say your content, I'm talking about Instagram. I literally cannot download the app TikTok on my phone anymore. I don't know why.
Oh,
I did have 3 pages banned from TikTok, so maybe they're just like, you know what, this phone number, no more. Because
yeah.
I've never been afraid of saying what is true, and I was very like I'm a fire sign. I'm a double fire sign actually. I don't know if you care about
Are you?
astrology or not,
I
but
do. I
yeah,
love astrology. I'm a
okay.
fellow fire sign. I'm a Leo.
Night. So I'm a Leo moon and I'm a Sagittarius at by sun.
Nice.
So I'm freedom oriented by my sun sign and I'm expressive as hell by my emotional sign, right?
Definitely.
And so when TikTok was kicking people off of the platform for saying that a male is born with male genitalia and can't go into bathrooms and do whatever they want with whoever's in there, I was getting kicked off. I was getting kicked off the platform and it was a mess. It was a mess. I remember one time I got a community guidelines strike for like a video that amounted to a selfie with a quote on it, and it was like a not even a controversial quote. They were just tired of my ass. So she's on multiple platforms. I follow her on Instagram, and I'm not on TikTok anymore because f them. You know what I'm saying? But some of your content,
Interesting enough,
yeah,
I'm on TikTok, but I recently started working more on Instagram, and it's gotten me better visual. I get visibility is the word I was trying to say.
nice.
Because TikTok, I hit 16,000 followers and kind of like plateaued, and they don't push
Mm.
my content out anymore for that, probably that very reason.
Yeah, we call that being shadow banned. Yep.
Exactly. I'm shadow banned. Yeah.
So boom, your content as defined herein is in the general direction of what I call natural law. And let me kind of define that a little bit for the people. Natural law is not very easy to boil down to a super short definition, but there I can tell you what it's not. Something that it's not. Natural law is not survival of the fittest, some sort of social Darwinism or regular evolution Darwinism, or the religious study of scripture. Natural law is the set laws built into the universe that govern the moral consequences to our choices, to our collective and individual choices. the non man made laws that make morality objective here in this 3D plane. It's not owned by any religion or any understanding, like worldview. And it's not opposed to any belief system either or any faith system. Natural law is 100% discoverable and consistent for anyone who pays attention, not an individual experience that varies person to person. Natural law is not up to interpretation and it is not susceptible to manipulation. It simply is, in effect, at all times, similar to the laws of physics or thermodynamics. They just are. So, Ms. Red, my question in regards to natural law and like the general direction some of your content points in is the systems that I'm talking about are the institutions and the structural system, the monetary system, the policing system, the political election and jurisdiction game. These systems that separate us from nature and our own nature. Finally, the question is one sec, this might be my wife. Nope, it's my grandma. Sorry, grandma. Next time. Shout out to grandma. We call her my mom. My question is, how important is it really for us in the 99%, if you will, to come back to nature and exit the systems that seemingly have separated us from nature and from our nature?
How important? I would say it's imperative. Uh, it's paramount to, and I feel like it's almost inevitable. This system that was designed can only sustain for so long. We've seen evidence of this in history. They get to a point where it crumbles. You can only squeeze a people so tight before they realize that it's something that they need to change eventually. I feel that this is the way that it will be, even if we are before our time
Hmm.
and we may not see it in our lifetime, but it's the beginning of that reality for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I often, I talk about on this channel sometimes the logical fallacies in what the founding fathers created,
Mm,
because they're very revered. And I don't think, any man of the past is supposed to be perfect, but they're very revered as these like super duper smart and prepared for all types of fights against tyranny men. And I don't think they were so. I think it's my standing opinion through my unfinished research that they knew exactly what they were doing when they created an entity that was so easily convertible into what it is today. And that basically the real planners were alive and existed far before these founding fathers were alive, and these founding fathers implemented a piece of the plan at their given time, and further, let's just say presidents or administrations or whatever implemented different pieces of the same plan at the correct times
mhm,
according to what they are following, the
mhm,
religion that they're following. And one of those logical fallacies is in the so-called checks and balances doctrine. We got the three branches, right? We got the executive, legislative, and judicial branch. The
mhm,
judicial is supposed to limit the power of the executive. The executive is supposed to, um, sort of not limit the power of the legislative, but influence the power of the legislative. And the legislative writes the laws and is limited by also the judicial. And this is supposed to be some sort of setup to prevent a concentration of power in the government.
right.
But the government itself, all three branches, make up one entity with all of the concentration of the power. It has the monopoly on force. It
Mhm,
has the monopoly on what the judgment is, meaning if a judge sets a immoral precedent, they go with the judge because the
mhm,
judge is who did it. The robe,
mhm,
the costume gives them the, I guess, godly authority to do so. I don't know. There's a big logic problem with all of their writings being like against tyranny, and then they create this concentration of power in their own founding documents. And this is before we get to like the Federal Reserve in 1913 and all of these other, let's say, parts of the plan.
mhm.
Um, I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think that they knew exactly what they were doing, or do you
Absolutely.
think that they
S-
tried to create something that was like, what right wingers try to say that they did nowadays?
No, I feel like they did this on purpose. They know exactly who we are and they knew exactly how to enslave us and keep us there. And even though we're not physically in chains anymore, we're not in the cotton fields, we are still mentally enslaved. And we do not understand laws. We do not read anything. You want to hide from somebody, you put in a book. We know that, right? So we don't read, we don't know our rights, and we are classified, I would say, into slavery by them calling us black. That still means slave to them.
It
And
means
so,
dead.
yeah, exactly. So we're not operating in our straw man. We're not sovereign, and there are ways to do this, but that's a conversation for another day. That's but i have
Right,
been
right.
i have been looking into that as well, even though that how I feel about living in America. I'm leaving the country, but
Yeah, now we out of here, baby. We
yeah,
out of
I'm
here.
out. I'm out. But for people who want to stay, and then I still want to do it no matter what, because I still want to change the status on my passport. But they created the system because they knew exactly who we were and
Right.
they knew how to keep us down, and that's what they continue to do. When we approach any sort of situation, whether it be court or anything of that nature, we should be representing ourselves. We should be entering the chambers. We should not be in a courtroom at all, period. And so we have to get to that level, but obviously there's so many layers to this, so many things that we have to kind of unlearn and relearn in order to get us all on one accord.
And the processes that lead to the private side keep changing,
Yes.
right? So on top of that, it's too late to do, let's say, accepted for value on a court document anymore, right? They that used to work, don't work no more.
Don't work no more.
A lot of the gurus are given outdated information or information that they've never tried themselves, so they never had to troubleshoot. That's a yeah, like you said, conversation for a different day. But I definitely come from those circles.
But you know what
You
I'm
know what I'm
talking about.
saying?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I seen the fallout with Tamika and Ignorance Be Gone and a whole bunch of other stuff. Shout out Yusuf El Bay and the whole black side of the private side, and then shout out people like John Bush, who I've interviewed on this channel, who's on. I mean, he's not a token white guy. He's definitely very very light skinned, but I think he's half Mexican. Um,
It's
but
so
John,
good.
John, he teaches like private members association and crypto and DeFi and just exiting. His actually, I'm going to be performing alongside my wife at Exit and Build down here in
Okay.
Texas.
Nice.
Looking forward to that in November. But yeah, I come from that right to travel, the whole nine, the whole nine.
Absolutely.
But what we're talking about today also is like the moral side of things. Oh, hold on, I gotta
It
do
was
the
like moral side.
yeah. The moral side. You know what I'm saying? And what we lack, what would you say we lack as far as bl- black Americans in the moral sense that we
um,
should be able to push through quite easily, but for some reason we seem to
we
not be able
can.
to.
Yeah, and I have been boggled by this. It frustrates me. I feel that we lack self-love ultimately because the world has done a good job of making others hate us, and then in turn making us hate ourselves. So we don't have pride anymore. We don't have a sense of self. And without that, it's kind of hard to have that pride. And we have a bunch of little frivolous holidays. I don't really celebrate Juneteenth. I could care less. I don't feel that slavery is something that should be celebrated because it's something that lives and breathes in our culture. We don't need to be reminded of it, and especially when we still are enslaved. In my opinion,
Yeah,
slavery
June
has never ended. And
it
so
has not.
it hasn't. And so in my opinion, it's we what we do have is unity. I can't say that we don't have unity, because when we need to come together on things that bring us joy, we do that. it's coming together for something bigger than that. It's not the lack of resources, it's the redirection of it, if that makes any
Mm,
sense. And so it's like, okay, Black people don't have wealth. We don't have families, right? But we do have families, we do have wealth, we do have community, and we do have unity to an extent. What it is we lack direction in which to place that energy. So when you look at us having $1 trillion of buying power, okay, where's that $1 trillion going? It's going towards other people's ventures. It's not moving the needle for us as a people whatsoever, because we do not spend the black dollar amongst us enough in order to make an effective change. We don't have things like Tulsa anymore in terms of having our own communities with our schools that are built by us and for us, hospitals that are built by us for us, grocery stores. We don't have that infrastructure. And without that, what are we doing? What are we even talking about?
right. 100%. We don't, and unfortunately, when we try and get to organizing the new Tulsa, the new whatever, it's quite easy for us to get infiltrated because on top of everything that we lack that you just listed, we lack trust. We don't
Thank you.
trust each other.
We don't.
Um and and sometimes for good reason, because sometimes we don't act trustworthy. We don't do things that are in line with trust. And I don't mean the business owner. I mean, maybe their cousin or somebody right alongside them might sabotage the whole thing,
Correct.
right?
And
And
that's a
that's
shame.
outside of just a snitch who does it for money. But
Do you,
somebody who
I
actually
have a
tries to
question
take
for
over.
you.
Yeah,
Do you think that that is by our nature, or do you think that it's something that has been kind of ingrained in us in the Western society that we live in?
human nature in my work is programmability. We are programmable. So our nature is not inherently good or even like naive. Our nature is not inherently bad or overly calculated. Our nature is that through story, trauma, environment, and worldview, how we think in our own head, like the thought choices that we make,
Mhm.
we are programmed. And what is programmed is our automated responses to phenomena, right? What I mean by that is something happens, you see it or you're in it. Your automated response, your quick response to that
Mhm.
is what is programmed, not your interpretation of your response, not even necessarily your final interpretation of the event, but
Mm.
your first response, how you feel, what comes up, and your ability to be self-aware that you're having a reaction, that is programmed um by what I call the inner storyteller.
Inner
And that
stories.
is what our human nature is. So no, I think our environment, our entertainment, the laws that we are obedient to and the people that we are obedient to teach us and
Mhm.
program in our inner storyteller
Mhm.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think our biggest power um, was the Black family, and they have properly dismantled that. And
Didn't they?
I feel that a lot of our problems will be solved by getting back to Black love ultimately. And
Real
that can
talk.
only start. That can only start with self love.
Real. Real. UNG Radio. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
just
good.
noticed who this is. This is a blast from college. I'm 35. I'll be 35 this year. This is from college. This is the big homie, man. It's the big homie. What's up? What's up, bro? Keep commenting, please, and share this out. Like the video. Okay. I have been wanting to go through and react to this video with you since I first saw it. And I've seen this video twice now.
Okay.
Let's watch it through. We're gonna watch it through, and I'm gonna like pause along the way and ask you or just kind of talk with you about what you say. And let's get into it.
Oh,
By the
this
way,
one. Okay.
guys, she doesn't do the 6 hours of makeup before she gets on and says something true. She just says what the truth is. Okay, so that's what we're gonna get in today's video. Check this out.
Money has made you niggas lazy. It doesn't require you to have any sort of skills. You can go to work, you can make money, and you can pay for the things that you don't know how to do yourself.
Hmm. So right there, we already have. Let me make sure. No, I need you to. How do I? Do I know that maximizes that? Okay, I don't know how to get us back to.
There
There
you
we go.
is.
You money doesn't require you to have the skills to do what you want to do. For instance, before I let you respond, Miss Red, I don't know the first thing about how to troubleshoot this microphone if it busts. Right? We have these ways that technology progresses, and because it's mass distributed, we almost have this optical illusion that we the people are progressing with the technology or at the same speed, when really our progression is governed and what the real measurement of it is our moral state, how often we make the right choice even when it's the hard choice. That's our measurement, and we don't. We have a bad reading, on that measurement. We suck at making the right choice over and over again. And even just this first, sentence that you said, two sentences. Money has made us lazy because it allows us to access resources and people with skills so that we don't have to learn the skills or learn how to manipulate the resources ourselves. What comes to your mind from these words that you said?
Ultimately, my experience in just growing my own food, healing myself with seeded fruit from diseases that I was not supposed to be able to heal. um, and it really got me thinking. You know, not even if, when everything crumbles, what are we really going to do? Because we don't know how to grow our own food anymore. We're not farmers. We don't have livestock. We don't even have the land to produce it. And if we had to survive without the technology that serves us so well, that we feel is going to be around forever, what will we do?
Hmm, let's keep going.
But if money wasn't required, if you didn't need money, and if you needed someone to fix your car, you needed to know how to cook because all they wanted was a hot meal, learn some skills so you can trade with people instead of using currency. Because what do you think's going to happen when this whole system collapses?
And it ain't going to collapse in 11 years. Okay? It ain't going to collapse, good people, after you're dead. It's going to collapse tomorrow. Okay? They could go on TV tomorrow and decide, yeah, we've had enough of the dollar. It's been, going off. We've seen the graphs. We didn't acknowledge it. Sorry, it was too late. We're shutting down the dollar today. Hurry up and get to the store. Like
Yeah.
they could
Yeah.
go on TV and say that tomorrow.
Hmm.
And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
When? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm talking a lot. What comes to your mind after that one? After that part?
Um, I've been thinking of what it's going to take to build this new world and what it would really look like without it, and without depending so much on the system. And I was like, it's going to go back to the people. The power is going to go back to the people. And we're going to have faith in each other. We're going to have to trust in each other again, because we're going to go back to an age where I won't eat unless I can do business with this other family. I won't survive. My family will struggle if I'm not actively in my community trading and bartering with people that I know. And that's what I was thinking about when I made that video.
Yeah. Nah, real talk. Real talk. Facts, says the big homie.
I don't understand this false sense of security that you guys all hide behind. This system is corrupt as fuck, and how long do you think it's going to hold up? They have an agenda that they're trying to achieve by 2030. They want one world government, one world currency, one world religion, complete and utter domination.
Complete and utter domination. Okay? Not a little bit of domination, okay? Not an illusion of domination and not incomplete domination. No, complete and utter domination is in their documents. Maybe not as a quote, but plain as the eyes can see.
Absolutely.
What kind of domination are they seeking?
They are seeking to control our travel. They are seeking to control the food that we eat. It's going to be completely lab grown. We will not have seeds to grow food anymore. And what do you
Mhm.
think is going to happen when they take away that? They
How
are
did Can I
seeking
interrupt you real quick?
Mhm.
How the hell do you get seedless fruit?
By making it in the lab, hybridizing, and fooling with the natural God order of things. you know, and you do that so much to where it will grow, but it won't have the original seed. That's how you know it's fake. And it's not, it has zero nutritional value, but we're thinking, oh, I don't like the seeds, I'll spit them out anyway, and so I don't need that. When's the last time you seen a banana with seeds? Probably
Yeah.
never, probably never. But bananas have seeds in
Except
them.
that one at the very top or at the very bottom, depending on how you open a banana. There's one. It's at the very bottom or very top.
A real banana is supposed to have little black seeds all throughout.
Yep.
And so
And not be as sweet.
no, it's
Sorry.
not. It's not. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. We don't know these things, right? Because obviously what they've given us. But it will come to the point where you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah. And that's exactly that's the words from the stage of the WEF, which is called the World Economic Forum. This ugly lady sat up there and said very boldly, and just with a snicker in her face, "You will own nothing, and you will be happy." That's another video that I watched like 20 times. I think you have like one more point, and I'm also noticing my comment right here. I don't know if y'all can see that if the text is super small, ma'am. I would really love to have you on my podcast. I talk deeply about the religion of monetary value and other related freedom-based topics. DM me. I may be interested. Maybe. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Miss Red. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
have to vet everyone first to see if we're aligned,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, let's see what we got.
Is what we're headed towards. And you guys are too afraid to take any sort of steps in order to prevent it from happening. And then it's going to be too fucking late. I'm so sick of talking to humans. Everyone's fucking.
I'm so sick of talking to humans. Humans.
The frustration is so real, but it comes from love. If I didn't love, I wouldn't care.
Right. There's definitely a lot to be said about how far we have to go and how frustrating it is for those that have been awake for a while to, let's just say, still be out here trying to spread the word, trying to spread the message. And no, I don't mean make you get on your knees and say that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior necessarily. Although, for me personally, if you actually, let's say, turn to Christ and you start making the right choices, by all means, get 1,000 Bibles and line your whole house with them. I am okay with someone having a faith system and using that to make the right decisions if the fruits of their actions actually lead us closer towards freedom. If the fruits of your actions lead us toward more control, then I don't like you. Which is why I often say on this channel, I say I ride for Christ, I don't ride for the church. Right? Which just means I ride for Christ consciousness, I don't ride for man. Not in our current state. And I should be able to ride for man. I should be able to ride for my brother and my father and my mother and wife and whatnot. But mankind, just the state of us, we're so far gone that I don't and I can't. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. I got one more. How much time we got? Oh, good, we got time. One more video that I also, because in that last segment you said, oh, hold on, your browser has lost connection to your screen share audio. No. Restart your browser if this continues to be a problem. Let me know if you can hear this.
No.
Damn.
No.
In this video, Miss Red talks about how we have to fight. We have to mentally prepare for what is coming, and we have to do what we can in our capacity. So, like, let me make us bigger again, since we're not going to be able to hear that. Basically, if you can, stop working, stop paying bills, stop participating in the system that you know is run by these people that do wrong by children and innocent, okay? Every single day, as well as tell themselves that they have a divine right to rule over you. Stop participating in the system. Let me listen. Let me listen personally to a couple examples you give, just so I can say them out loud, and then we chat. Extracting our resources from the system. Like I said, stop working, stop spending. Get out of the mindset that this is a game. Um, I'm gonna give you the floor for a second. You can kind of add to that, since I can't
Yeah, that
share
that
the video.
that video was really just about stopping the overspending and overconsumption that we have allowed ourselves to become. It's We're defined by what we wear, we're defined by what we have and what we can obtain, but these things mean nothing. And we see people going into the coffin without these things every single day, but yet we still feel that that is what defines our life. And ultimately, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of consumerism. I'm tired of the comfortability that keeps us complacent. And basically, what that really means is like, we overconsume. We have this American culture of like, take, 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 take. I need more, I need more, I need more. And it's like, is that really what life is about here? Let's just stop
Mm-hmm.
playing games, because it's a game, it's a show. It's to gain approval of other people. And it's like, we and I say this in another video, we are more concerned with looking like we got it than actually having it. And
Right.
when I
Yep.
worked in the bank for years, I would see people come in and I would open their accounts. I can see how much money they have. I can't react, right? It's a part of my job. But I see people come in, they open their account, millions of dollars, but they came in with Converse shoes on, ripped jeans, and a t-shirt. Well, I could never tell how much money that they have. And so I'd much rather be that than looking like I got it, because what does that do for us as a whole? And this
Right.
idea of individualism is not going to move the needle. We need to come together and do it collectively. And that means not caring about Gucci bags, not caring about purses and red bottoms, and the things that are perpetuated in our music by the people that we admire for no reason at all. Okay, let's just be real. It's suicide to us. It's damaging. You listen to nothing, you become nothing. So
Yeah.
um I'm all for introspection. I want to have conversations like this. And this is and it this is what I hear when I have these conversations with the people around me. It's boring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored. I know that I
Mm-hmm.
can be in the house, YouTubing things. I know I could read a book. I know I could work out. I know I could eat better. I know I can have intellectual conversations, but that's boring. I'd rather be out drinking, drowning in my sorrows, having sex and doing drugs. And it's just like, okay, cool. But how long is that going to sustain me? We're going to get to the point where it's like, what are we really doing here? But if you want this is the thing, you want your life to be that, go ahead. But I'm interested in talking to the people who like, I'm done with that. I'm ready
Right.
to put the pen to the pad. Let's get to work.
And let's honor our humanity. Let's honor the fact that nobody's perfect, but we have shared objectives. Let's honor the fact that our parents, although we tell ourselves they did the best that they could, did a horrible job. They taught us nothing about how the world really works, and they taught us nothing about morality, objective morality. To a large extent, I say our parents. I'm not necessarily talking to anybody individually, but by and large, we can see the fruits of their actions, of their obedience before we even had a choice to be obedient or not, has brought, and we not in a good place.
hmm And it's
You know,
time for us to heal. As a people,
yes,
it's time for us to heal.
indeed,
And that's ultimately what I would like to see. And the type of conversations that I have is geared towards us just healing.
and what we aim to heal are the or heal from maybe are the stories that we tell ourselves that are harming us. Because here on this channel, that we're getting into question number 3 now. Here on this channel, we are exploring the concept called the inner storyteller. Basically, the world as it is experienced by individual human beings is in story form. Okay, our inner experience of the world operates on symbol systems, and every symbol carries a story. You follow what I'm saying?
Yep, I do.
Word. So some stories that I have identified before this episode started is one of the stories. Change is a slow process in all aspects. Change always takes a long time. The truth is, change happens as soon as you decided it that it happens for you.
Powerful.
The truth is, change happens as soon as you decide it is time to change. Results may take a while, depending on what the change is, but the change happens as soon as you decide. And change is what we need. And why that is because all we have is now. We do not have tomorrow. We do not have yesterday. Not
Hmm.
in our possession. We have yesterday as far as, what
Memory.
was is a part of truth,
Mhm.
right? What was is a legitimate part of what is, but what will be is not. Therefore, we only have now.
Mhm.
Another story, entertainment is not harming anyone. Entertainment is just entertainment. Truth is, entertainment hits the mind of a young person much differently than it hits the mind of an adult. Between birth and about 25 or so years old, 28 for males, when the brain is developed, we are much more susceptible to enact and rehearse harmful messages that are packaged in good vibes and funny jokes.
Mm.
Entertainment is not simply watched by children, it is teaching children. Another story, morality is relative to the law, right? Or morality is subject to change with the proper justifications. The truth is,
Mhm.
morality is objective, and the moral weight of our choices always result in a proportional consequence, good or bad. No man has ever changed the objective nature of morality, and it will never will happen, expressed in the concept of reaping what you sow. It does not happen. In a last little example, evil is a label reserved for order givers, not order followers. And this one is a hard pill to swallow. Maybe not for you, Miss Red, but for most of humanity. People do not like to recognize that they've been evil on accident, that they've been made to do evil. What I mean by that is the truth is evil evil is as evil does, just like stupid is as stupid does.
Mhm.
Evil is as evil does. If the fruits of the actions taken or inactions chosen is evil fruit, then the person is being evil. Simple. Not cold-hearted, but clear-headed. Evil is the actions or inactions that result in the initiation of harm or theft to the innocent. And it doesn't really matter how you slice it. Separate these tabs right quick. Boom. That way I can see us nice and big. What are some stories that we tell ourselves that may hold us back from truth in your mind? And of course, they don't have to be all formalized like mine, where with the here's the story, here's the truth. You can say it however you want.
The first thing that popped into my mind is that we are not God. That we don't have the power to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that it will never happen.
Hmm.
Um, Speaking about it doesn't change anything. If I can't take action, then I won't speak.
Hmm.
Because these are the things that I hear in my comments all the time. And it's not verbatim, but it's, you know, what people are saying to me. Um, I don't think that people realize that hope goes a lot further than we think. Um, Manifestation starts with thoughts, and your thoughts are powerful because it shapes your perspective, therefore shaping your life and how you live. shaping your choices and your decisions based on, like you said, the inner story that you tell yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Going and I don't want to say networking, but meeting somebody and bringing your ideas to them, and they might have the resources or connections to pull it off. Is something most people don't do.
Right.
We don't try,
Hmm.
right? We don't go test the theory that this is impossible and nobody is going to take us seriously and whatever else story related to the I can't do anything about it, therefore I'm not willing to engage in it even mentally or
Right.
verbally.
Or if I don't have the money, like you said, I don't have
Yeah.
the resources, then it's not a valuable thing. And it's like, the value of partnership, like when I'm an entrepreneur, so I've had many businesses, and the one thing I had to learn quick was when you don't have the money and the time, you or if you don't have money, you use knowledge and time to gain money.
Yeah.
When you don't have time, you use knowledge and money to gain that, right?
Yeah.
And so when you don't have one, you use the other two. And oftentimes I would have to put in the sweat equity in order to get something done because I didn't have the money to pay for it. So it's like it might be a long night. It's going to get done, right? If I had the $500 to pay somebody, it would be a lot easier,
Yeah.
but I had to put that in. So I think it's really important to um understand that what we're up against, it's not going to happen overnight, but the smaller choices and the smaller decisions that we make leading up to that, it amounts to much bigger change, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
And
small steps, towards one goal.
yep. Yep. And the first, I wouldn't call it a small step, but the first step is the internal change,
Hmm.
right? The decision that, you know what, that didn't work. That didn't work. That's probably not going to work because it's in line with that and that. So I'm changing what I used to believe in.
I was Man
Right.
in the Mirror came into my mind.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And I listened to that earlier today when I was listening to music.
And it's like, so many people, millions of people love Michael Jackson. We don't even embody what his
We
music
do
was trying
not.
to do.
Yep. Yep. Real talk. My daughter loves Mike. Oh my gosh, she loves Michael Jackson.
I'm the biggest fan, of course. We all are.
Yeah. Gonna make a change. Um but yeah, like I said, change, and change is not a slow process. Change is instantaneous. And the problem is we can regress. So we can decide and then sort of go against our word and not be not hold the courage or the true care enough to actually follow through
Mhm.
with all of that. But regardless, this has been a wonderful, super duper wonderful conversation. And before we did you hear that?
Yeah.
You
It's
want
your
to
baby.
oh, want to go hang out with daddy? I want to go
Oh.
hang out with daddy. Before we close out, and I go with my 2-year-old and give her a big hug because they just got home. Are there any final thoughts that you want to leave, the audience? I think we had an amazing conversation with some big gems for people
I
to
think so
kind of
too.
chew on.
Mhm.
What's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I would say um I think that there are good people in the world, and I wouldn't even say good people. I would say people who with good intentions, people that want the best for others. And a lot of us have never met someone that just genuinely cares without looking for any in return. And we can all embody that energy, so we choose. Um, I'm trying to be that because I've always cared deeply ever since I was a child. And the passion for me, it's not going anywhere. And I got on here originally to make content to so people like me wouldn't feel alone.
Mm,
So they would know that there are people in the world that still care. Um, it's the little things that we do, it may be just smiling at someone on the street that we don't know, giving, somebody a hug. We have all these problems and we can think we're human. We have all these things that we can just, imagine. But like at the base of it all comes down to kindness and love. And it's really, really simple when you think about it. These things that we feel aren't powerful can change the world. Love can change the world. And so I lead with love in everything that I do. It seeps into my videos and it
Mhm.
overflows out of me. And I wish that for everybody.
Word, word. Love is my religion. Right. Word. What is Miss Red's social media? Well, you got half of it.
It's misread_35. And I'm on TikTok and on Instagram. I'm also on Threads. So if you're on
Hey,
Threads.
Instagram,
Oh, and
Threads,
Facebook as well.
Facebook, yeah, and it's in the description. Okay, for all of y'all watching the replay, it's right in there in the description. Also, make sure you click that link tree to get the book, The Inner Storyteller, as well as view all of Ufuluchild's work. Miss Red, thank you, or Red, I'll just call you Red. Thank you so very very much for joining The Inner Storyteller for today's super great episode. Um, I hope to have you back soon. We got to talk about some more of your content and rant some more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for connecting with me. We will definitely stay in touch. This was awesome.
Awesome. Can you tell the people to like the video?
Absolutely, guys. Like, love, support, share, subscribe, all the good things.
Okay. And we'll see you on Monday for the next episode. Peace and love.
All right. Bye.
Noise and stream. Boom.